Okay, I'm joined today by Pete Leyland of Leyland Forrest, who are a passive fire or fire stopping firm and building services firm. I think you're based in Oldham. Is that right,
Yeah,
Pete?
yeah, we're based in Oldham, yeah.
Oldham-based fire stopping and building services firm. We've started working with Pete and his company over the last few months to deliver 2 qualifications for them in passive fire protection level 2 NVQ and occupational work supervision level 3. And Pete's agreed to join me this afternoon for a few minutes to just have a quick chat about his company, DMR's involvement with his company, and plans for the future. So thanks for joining me, Pete. Can you start off by just telling me a bit about Leyland Forrest, how you came into existence and what it is that you do?
Okay, so right, so I'm Pete Leyland. I've been working in the building trade for nearly 40 years now. I know I don't look old enough. And I've started off as a bricklayer. So over the period of a lot of years, with working on various sites, I decided that I'd start my own company about 20 years ago. And with a joiner friend of mine, we started a company, and we still work together today. He's my partner, and we worked as general builders and maintenance operatives, really. Post Grenfell Tower, we was asked to do some fire stopping works and some fire doors, which we did, and then realised that we weren't really qualified to do this because fire stopping is a trade on its own. So we decided to get qualified, which we've been doing, and that's where this company come in, because obviously they helps us along with our training.
Okay, and what does passive fire protection involve for people that don't know? What sort of work does that entail?
Okay, so passive fire protection is, so if you've got a building typically made up of rooms, then each one of those rooms can be deemed to be a compartment. And what we aim to do is stop the spread of fire from one compartment to another. The most important compartment is the compartment that forms your exit route in the event of a fire. So we aim to protect that exit route in order to give the occupants long enough to exit the building, and hopefully the fire service enough time to get in and put the fire out. And okay, that's in a nutshell what passive fire protection does.
Great. And you've, like I mentioned at the start of the chat, you're doing 2 qualifications with DMR. You've got your supervision level 3, and you've got your passive fire protection level 2. How did you decide that it was those 2 qualifications that you needed, and how do you see them benefiting your company?
Right. Okay. So we'll start with the MVQ level 2 in passive fire protection. So we're employing people from various trade backgrounds, and for the same reason that we decided to become qualified, we decided that they needed to also have some sort of a qualification so that they understand their role in our company. And also we can then demonstrate to our third-party certification body and our client base that each and every one of our employees is qualified to do the job that they're employed to do. Now, the supervision course kind of goes hand in glove with that, because we also needed to demonstrate that not only did the people on site know what they were doing, but the people who were managing those people knew what they were doing. And our passive fire, our supervision courses were specifically designed to work alongside the MVQ2.
Right. And does the CCSC card system play a part in it as well?
Absolutely. Well, most of our lads have a building trade background, and they will also have a CCSC card, which most people will know will get you on site anyway. but that's not good enough, because we need to show that we're competent at what we do. And the way to show that on new sites is with a CS card, because there are increasingly now, there are more and more companies who are taking the scheme seriously, and they do actually look into what you're qualified to do, and they will only let you on site to do what you are qualified to do. So the MVQ serves dual purpose. One, it helps us to show our clients that we're competent in what we do, but it also helps us gain access to site, so that our client supervision on site can also see that we know what we can do using a recognised scheme.
Great. And there may be other construction workers who are watching this at some point, maybe on social media or on our YouTube channel, who are about to start an MVQ, and then they're not quite sure what it entails, what it involves, and they might be a little bit apprehensive about it. From the perspective of someone who's doing the qualification now, can you just talk through what you've done with your MVQ assessor? And did you feel apprehensive or nervous about it before you started?
I think we all felt a bit apprehensive and nervous before we started it, for various reasons. Me personally, because it's a long time since I did a test, or, you know, had to complete a course. But we've got lads who work for us who have various levels of numeracy and literacy, and they're in the same position as us. You present them with something new that's written down, and it can throw them. Anyway, we had a word with the assessor. The assessor came in to see us, Ian Southworth, and any apprehensions we had, we put to him, and he put us at ease. And in all fairness, he gently guided us through the process from start to finish. And in the event, I think all of us wondered what all the fuss was about.
That's good to hear. And I'd like to come back to the business itself, Leyland Forrest, and what have been your biggest challenges, do you think, over the last 12 months, Pete? And I'm guessing the pandemic's probably going to crop up here. I'd like to know, if it does, I'd like to know how it's impacted the business and what measures you've taken to counteract that.
Okay, well, in all fairness, the pandemic was an issue in the beginning, and the main reason it was an issue was because everybody panicked. We all did, and everybody decided, no, the government said we've got to close down, so we closed down. And in reality, I don't think the majority of us in the building trade or on the periphery of the building trade really needed to. But what it did do, it allowed us to focus on our clients and our clients' best interests with regards to COVID, and figure out ways of working through it. So much so now that we've actually taken on 2 new men during the pandemic in order to meet the demands that are out there for us. Our biggest trial over the last 12 months really is convincing clients of their responsibility around what we offer as a service, and making sure that they understand what their responsibilities are, not only to the building, but to residents of their buildings, to people who work in their buildings. So the truth of it is that the main challenges that we've suffered this year, or seen this year, are probably going to be the same challenges that we're going to see year on year. And yes, the pandemic's been an issue, but as I say, like most people, where you can, you find ways.
Great. You mentioned one of the challenges is reminding clients of their responsibilities in terms of the building and where they operate. What type of clients do you have? Who do you tend to do business with?
We tend to work for property management companies, block management companies, who will manage on behalf of a residents association. So you'll have a residents association that are set up with a number of directors that just administer the needs of the site. So what generally we find that we're dealing with property managers who then have to deal with a number of people, let's call them a third party. So we're kind of justifying twice what it is that we're trying to achieve, and there's the difficulty, because we don't get to sit in front of the decision maker. If we was to sit in front of the decision maker and have that conversation, it would, I'm sure life would be so much easier. But the nature of the beast is that we have to go through a third party, and that creates us some difficulty. However, we just, like everybody else in the who have their own business, you just plan and you just execute and you just hope that it works.
Sure. And that brings us to talk of the future and another challenge, which is obviously bringing businesses towards that net zero target that the government have set, but also I know a lot of businesses like ourselves, we're trying to get there as quickly as possible. And we're currently in the process of making changes to the way that we operate in order to start moving ourselves towards that net zero position. So in terms of sustainability, low carbon, what plans have Leyland Forrest got in the pipeline for changes in that area? Okay,
so what we're in the process of doing, we're in the process of doing a feasibility study with one of our main suppliers, because we've reduced the amount of waste that we produce. We've purposely reduced that amount of waste, not only for the environment. I've got to be honest, it's a cost thing as well. But we want to achieve our ISO 9. I think it's a 9014, which is the environmental standard, and we want to achieve that as quickly as possible. But in order to do that, we need to reduce our waste even further. Along with other things, and as I say, we're conducting a feasibility survey with one of our main suppliers to see whether they can actually recycle waste product that we have. Anyway, we've done a number of things. So we use a lot of mastics. So we now no longer use the solid plastic tube. We use a foil tube now, which is I mean, when you dispose of it, it's maybe a fifth of the volume of plastic that you would have in a general tube, and it's little savings like that, little things that we can do to reduce the amount of plastics that we're using and various things like that. One of the other plans for the not too distant future is our next vehicle will be completely electric. My next vehicle as the company managing director will be completely electric, because we feel that not just as a company but as individuals, we need to make an effort. We need to make an effort not only to be sustainable as a company, but to become sustainable as individuals.
Yeah, I think at DMR we're thinking along the same lines as well. You know, we're on a very similar kind of mindset to you, and I'm hoping it's something that we can work together on, maybe in certain areas in future.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly some of the qualifications that we're now offering in low carbon, but you know, potentially.
With regards to qualifications, as I said at the beginning, when we first come into contact with you, this is an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing process. Because what we've realised is, although I'm a little bit long in the tooth, what we've realised is that, you know, information is king. Qualifications are key, because it's not just a piece of paper that you can wave in front of a customer's face to demonstrate that you've got a qualification. It provides you with knowledge and confidence to carry out the work that you do in a confident, competent manner. And also it allows the business to grow, because as you know, as you will understand, as you'll know, with ISO qualifications, you do need qualifications. and it pushes your company that much further. And
Yeah.
so it's good for the company, good for the individual, and hopefully, if we get the carbon footprint right, it'd be good for the environment too.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a great point to finish on, a really positive point. I said I wouldn't keep you too long, Pete, so thanks for having a chat with me. For the benefits of anyone watching, any viewers, I believe they can find out more about Leyland Forrest at your website, which is www.leylandforrest.co.uk.
That's correct.
Forrest is double R in
Forrest,
Forrest.
double R.
Are you on social media, Pete?
We are on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. And I think we're also on Instagram.
Brilliant. Okay, you can find out more about Leyland Forrest on the website or on social media. Same for DMR as well. Thanks again, Pete. I'll let you get off and enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye.
Bye.